Hey everybody, welcome to another episode of Let's Talk with the Saw right here on Superlative Radio.
A little late.
Going to apologize because this episode is a week late.
Yes,
actually.
it is.
We are going to be talking about Pennyworth.
And that's your fault.
Yes. So anyway, we're my fault.
Yes, it's your fault. It's always your fault.
It's not my fault. Okay, so we're going to be talking about Pennyworth season 2, episode 7, called The Bloody Mary.
Gilligan.
Yeah. And so again, I do apologize that it is a week late, but real life kind of got in the way. And,
It does, actually,
so
unfortunately.
we were
but
a bit late. So
we're here.
yeah. So, but also today you are also going to be able to check out our episode of Falcon and the Winter Soldier, episode 2. So that's going up today as well too. So you should be able to.
And
see
then
that.
we'll get Pennyworth, the next one, tomorrow.
This week's Pennyworth that aired just last night. We'll have that up tomorrow. So
Yeah. We're catching up.
we're catching up. So sorry about the lateness,
Yeah.
but
We apologize, but
check
we
it out.
are playing catch up and we'll get you there.
yeah, exactly. So
With that in mind, what did you think?
I really enjoyed the episode. Start to finish, it was really, really well done this time. Not that they're not all well done, but
No,
it was,
definitely not. But
there was a little bit of some really intense stuff going on.
oh, big time, big time. Metal Nose is gone.
Lord Harwood, he ended up getting killed, and as I said,
But he knew he was going to do it. That was
yes,
his
he
plan.
did. But as I said, remember a few weeks ago, I said about the drugs. And I thought
That's right,
that
you said that,
I
yes.
thought that him being on the
And you
drugs
were
was making him
100% right,
crazy.
yep.
And now we see him off the drugs, and
That's
he's
right,
much
and he's
more
back,
sane.
yeah.
And he's wanting to end the war, and he's not wanting, all like all this stuff.
And he doesn't want to put out that what is it called? That
the weapon.
yeah, what is it called?
I mean the gas.
The gas, yeah.
Yeah.
Just like Pongo does in here.
Yeah. Yeah. No, he doesn't want to use it, but you're right. Stormcloud. Yeah. But as as I said, I honestly I thought it was the drugs that he was using to
And you were
manipulate
right.
him. And
You
when
nailed
you
it.
see him off the drugs this week, you can tell it's like, oh, he's actually gone back to being sane
Yeah,
again.
that guy with the glasses.
So because
the
he felt
asshole
really
is
bad
just-
about killing that young
the kid,
lieutenant,
yep,
and he felt bad about betraying the
girl
lady
there,
who was
whatever,
his
yeah.
second in or whatever.
Yeah.
Like he just all around he felt, you could tell it was like, wow, it's quite a difference. And of course we get to see Alfred preparing to leave England again.
Yeah, getting ready to go to
And
America
he's finally getting ready to get on the plane this time. Like he's got
With his mother and with
packed
everybody,
and,
yep,
and,
yep.
and his buddy. And of course, he decides to bring along
what's his name's wife?
the lady that he was having the affair with,
Yeah.
because she actually gets the shit kicked out of her. Sorry, I don't mean to drop my phone, but I do need it for my notes. But he.
Yeah, she did. She took a shit kicking
She
from
took a
him.
shit
Yeah.
kicking from him.
Yeah.
And I was amazed he survived, because she did get the.
She got a good
stabbed
shot in him.
Like,
Yeah,
she
she did.
stabbed
I know.
right in the neck, and I'm
Yeah.
like, how the hell did he ever survive?
He's
that?
a tough
But you
bastard.
see him at the end; he's sewing himself up,
Yeah.
and I'm like, really? Like, how did he survive?
Doing
But-
the Rambo thing.
yeah,
Yeah,
Like
exactly.
it just But she actually did end up getting on the plane, and she left to go to America with
And Alfie decided
with
to stay
Thomas's
again.
sister.
Yep.
And of course, Thomas and Alfred both decided to stay, which meant
And Martha.
his mother stayed and his buddy stayed. Martha was staying. And Martha still hasn't come clean about being pregnant
Nope.
to Thomas.
No, not yet. She
But
wants
I mean,
to.
all in all, it was just like, there was just boom, boom, boom,
Yeah.
boom, boom. Like
They
things were
moved it
going
along
really,
very
really
well.
Yeah.
Yeah, they did move it along quite well on that one. So it's
I was quite impressed with it.
it was quite action packed. It was really
Yep,
good.
it
It was good
was.
to see. Yeah, they're doing an amazing job, and
They found a way to keep it in England for a while.
yeah,
I don't know, but so anyway, this show takes place in the 60s.
yeah.
Is when it actually takes place, because I did decide to look in to see exactly when it takes place. They don't really specify, I don't think, the year, but it is in the 60s is when it takes place. So
It does make sense with some of the things going on that it would be the
does.
60s. So yeah.
So it's in the 60s, and it's really quite.
It makes me laugh though because the original Batman series aired in the 60s, and Alfred was an old man.
Well, okay, but you also got to remember,
I'm-
Batman was originally released in the 30s, and
I know.
when Batman was released
I know.
in the 30s, like by the 60s, Batman would have been an old man.
Yeah.
So
But it just makes me laugh that it's all,
I know, yeah. But it's it's very intense, this episode. And there is a lot going on in it. I'm kind of surprised they decided to stay. I was really kind of hoping they were going to shift it to Gotham.
Maybe they will eventually.
They're going to have to. I mean, I can't see how they can keep it in England forever, but I mean, you never know, right?
No, you don't. That's just it. You don't know what the writers have in mind.
What was your favorite part?
I was actually just glad to see Metal Nose get taken out of it.
Lord Harwood.
Yeah. Lord Hardon, or whatever the hell his name is. There.
Harwood.
Yeah, that's what I said. Lord Hardon.
I wasn't really glad to see him taken out because
Well, it's one less thing you have to worry about
yeah,
as far
but
as I'm concerned.
when I saw him become more sane, I thought that would just
Yeah, but the guy, his second in command there is a real dickhead, and will, if he'd have survived, chances are he'd have done more to him again, and caused more problems, because
I don't
this
know,
is
I
another
think-
guy that's got to be taken out of the picture
I
sometime
think what
soon.
would have happened is if they were smart, I think that he would have started to work with his general, where he was off the drugs and everything,
well,
and then
you
it
know.
would have, I don't know.
Too many things going on in the background.
There
too.
is a lot going on in this show.
So,
There is an awful lot going on.
but I was glad to see him taken out. So that made me go, okay, one less thing to worry about.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah, another dude taken out.
Yeah.
So.
Just wish life worked that way sometimes, but that's another story.
Yeah, no, but
'Cause I know a few people I'd like to
I
take
thought
out.
it was a really good scene too, and I think it was probably my favorite scene in the whole episode. I really do, because I think it was really good. Although, yeah, no, I think that probably I'd have to say that was my favorite scene.
Okay.
Just, it was really good because he had an inkling that if he was taken out, it would be like he was a martyr,
That's right.
and that was why the other guy didn't want him to get shot, and so I think it really played to that very well.
It played to it excellently, actually.
Yeah, so I think it was really good. I mean, the whole show has been exceptionally well done. I mean, and we're coming to the end. There's only 8, 9, and 10 left. So
Wow.
3 episodes left for the end of the season.
Again.
And I know these 10-episode seasons are killing me.
You just get into it, and they
I know, and they pull the plug.
whatever.
Can you imagine, just for a moment, what it would have been like if a show like this had been released in the 90s? Or
Even
the
the
80s?
70s.
No. In the 80s or the 90s, when shows were, like, on average, a show like this would have been 25, 26 episodes.
Yeah.
Right? Just think.
People would lose their freaking minds.
Like, today, people aren't used to that.
No.
And, we can, again, it all comes back to, we can thank Netflix for this. Because it is Netflix that that started with introducing these really short seasons and stuff. It was them that did it, and everybody else has just followed suit. So I mean, when you look at these shows now, and everybody's just naturally, they're like, oh well, we only know there's going to be 8 episodes, 10 episodes, 13.
Netflix
episodes.
also started binge watching, putting a whole series and a whole
Yeah.
season in one shot. You
Oh,
never
yeah.
got that before either.
I know.
Which I kind of liked.
I do too, but at the same time, then it's like the gap to wait for more. It's like right now, like, I don't know, like to give you an example, when we're talking about that, Orange is the New Black, which was on Netflix.
I remember that.
I remember.
I watched the
when
first 2 seasons.
Yeah, when I started watching that, right? Of course, like there was the first season.
I
And
lost
then,
interest after that, though,
Watched the
but-
first season, and then it was like, oh my god! And it was like, I don't know, like 6 months or 8 months or something before the
Next
next
season,
season
yeah.
came, right? And then you'd watch the whole season, and then it was like, oh my god! And then you'd be like another 8 like it was It was pretty crazy. Now, I will admit, they did 7 seasons, I think, and they did them over the span of, I think it was 4 years. So for however it worked out, I mean, it was instead of we got the 7 seasons over 4 years, but we didn't really get 7 seasons of content.
No.
You know, and
What was that other one with Millie Bobby Brown?
I don't know.
And she's an alien or something, or they call her 11.
I don't know. I never saw that. But like another show there's a number of shows on Netflix that I watched that's what they did is they released like entire seasons and they were really short seasons, but the 7 or 8 seasons of the show happened over a span of like 3 or 4 years. So, I mean, I get that in one way they're the binging and that idea and only shorter seasons, you're getting the whole thing.
It's 6 of one, half a dozen at the other is what it turns out to be, really.
Exactly.
You know?
So, I mean, like, what do you guys think of the way these things are going? Like, do you let us know below when you get to your comment.
Do you prefer it binging? Because I'm a binger. Like, I will sit there and go right through it.
I don't mind binging stuff either. Like, I know, as an example, with WandaVision, okay? Like, I watched it every week when it was coming out, and I watched each episode several times.
Yep.
And then I watched, so like, as an example, when the second episode came out, I watched it. Then I went back and I watched the first one and then watched the second one again.
That's right.
And then when the third one came out, I watched the third one. I went back and I watched 1 and 2 and then the third one again. And I did that with each one. And then when it was all out, I watched the whole thing again.
In its entirety.
In its entirety, all in one shot, right? And
do you find when you watch it like that in one fell swoop, from end to end, do you see it from a different angle? Or do you find...
No, I don't.
Right.
But see, I look for when I'm watching a like when
you look for inconsistencies. That's what you look for.
Well, no, it's not just that. But when I watch,
you're saying you don't.
I said it's not just that.
Okay.
So when I watch Marvel,
so you're saying you don't?
I watch the show for the purposes of the review. Right? So when we're going to sit down, we're going to do this show and we're going to talk about it. Right. I'm watching it from the review. I enjoy it, but I'm watching it from how am I going to talk about it?
If we weren't doing this, would you watch it anyway?
Oh my God, yeah.
Okay.
Oh yeah, that wouldn't change. It's just, but when I'm watching it, the way I watch it is I'm often...
You're watching it from this perspective.
I'm watching it from the perspective of I want to see what's going on in the episode. And I'm looking in the background for things and I'm looking at and that's why I'll watch an episode several times.
Okay, I got what you're saying.
But yeah, like that's,
you're watching it as a critic, so you can talk to people.
Whereas when I watched, say, like when I binged Orange is the New Black as an example, I just watched it
as a fan or exactly.
Hey, this is cool. Yeah. Like right now, like I told you before we came on air, I'm into Criminal Minds.
Right, exactly.
Right, and it's because it's on Disney Plus, all 11 seasons, and I'm in the second one now, and I've just been like every day I've been watching episode after episode after episode.
Great
and
series.
I'm not watching it to pick it apart. I'm just watching it to... Now, there are times when I'm like, really? Come on. Like...
But I mean, every show has that.
Well, yeah, exactly. And I mean, I'm not here to pick apart Criminal Minds because that's not what we're talking about, but...
It's a great show, though.
It is a good show, but there are things in it that I sit and I'm going, really?
Again, as I say, every show has its,
But yeah, it's... with Pennyworth, I mean, it's the same idea. When I watch Pennyworth, I'm watching it and I'm looking for these little subtleties to see how are they connecting it to the overall DC history that they have.
But you have that advantage over me. I don't know the history. Are they trying
to actually, connect it? Are they trying to actually, or are they just doing their own thing with it? And in this case, they're doing their own thing with it. It's like...
But you get pissed off.
You watched Gotham.
Of course, from end to end.
Right? So Gotham...
Great, I loved it.
Gotham was not a good example of...
It was very dark.
It was. But it wasn't a very good example of Batman and his villains, okay?
Well, he was still a kid then, basically.
I know, but they had Batman villains... in that.
Yeah. Well, their beginnings. I mean, Penguin was still Cobblepot, basically.
I know, but you gotta remember, okay? Like there's no history there. Like
And Riddler was still,
Batman,
Enigma and the whole, you got the
Batman as an example. Okay, Batman is almost universally responsible for every one of his villains. All of his
You've
villains
said that before.
have come about because of something he's
that's
done.
right, exactly.
In it, like they might have started out as a whatever criminal, and then
He just exacerbated it.
And then by interacting with him, trying to stop them as a basic criminal, something happened, and
Right.
then now they're this, and that's really what it is. Like, and Gotham didn't do that. Okay, not that it's not an entertaining show, but it doesn't follow the actual history of Batman. Because I mean, he was interacting with Catwoman as Selina, as they were both kids.
They knew
right?
each other as kids.
They never knew each other that way. Like,
okay,
so there's all those things, right, that come about.
Selena Kyle.
Yeah, Selena Kyle. So I mean, there's all those things that come about, and they didn't
Still got
know. Not that it's not an interesting show and it's not entertaining, and you can watch it and enjoy it and have a great. Because I mean, I thought the show was entertaining.
It was, and I enjoyed it.
But it wasn't accurate.
No, but you see, that's
So-
the thing. You knew the history. I didn't. So I could enjoy it from a
Right.
different perspective.
I mean, I can understand them doing what they did with Penguin and Cobblepot as an example. That one I can understand. And the reason I could let that one get by is because when Batman is in his prime, in his late 20s and his early 30s, when he's fighting all of his villains in the comic books kind of thing and whatever, Penguin's already an old man. So I could see that as, oh, okay, well, that's fine that they're introducing Cobblepot early on as a younger guy.
Right, because at that point he's older.
Because-
Okay, right.
Right. So that one I was like, oh, that kind of makes sense. But when they started to introduce Buddy as the Joker, it's like, no.
Enigma, yeah.
Oh,
the Joker. What's his name?
I don't remember the guy's name because
Yeah,
it's been so long since I've seen the show. But, that idea, right? Like it's just there was things about it that it was like, and the fact that he didn't know Selena Kyle when he was a kid, and there's all those different things, and the fact that it was Alfred that trained him. Well, Alfred didn't train Batman,
Right.
Like there's all these things. Not that they weren't entertaining in that show, because they were. It's just that it wasn't the way it happened. Getting to see the backstory on Cobblepot as Penguin, that was kind of cool, because then it was like, oh, this could be how he actually came about to be the older guy and blah 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 blah, right? So.
Well, once they killed his mother, he lost it.
And see, that's how when I watch Pennyworth, I'm looking to see, well, how are they tossing things in? So, like this season, we were introduced to Lucius Fox.
Yep, that's right.
Right.
Marky G.
We're getting to see. Thomas and Martha when they were now. One of the things that kind of bugs me about what they're doing with Pennyworth is that if they decide to follow this in the actual vein of Batman and his history, well, Batman's parents getting killed is one of the triggers to him deciding to become Batman.
That's right, exactly.
Right? Now, I highly doubt that some Joe Schmo robber in the middle of an alleyway is going to be able to take out two highly trained, one being a CIA agent and the other being Martha, is what she's trained. Being able to take out two people that quick. You know what I mean? Like, it's just...
If they're caught off guard, yeah. Because from what I remember seeing in different ones, Gotham and the different things that I'd seen, they were completely off guard. They did not. They weren't expecting it.
Right, but...
So in that sense, yeah, I could see that if they get the drop.
But you might be able to get the drop on them, and you might be able to shoot one, but you're not going to be able to get...
I don't know.
Let's put it this way. It's like, as an example, if we're in relatively close proximity, okay, and I'm one guy and I have one gun, and there's two people, okay, in the time that I can move to shoot one, another one can close the distance. Right? Because it's like...
Okay, I'm going to...
I don't... I just...
Look what Oswald
one of those
did.
Things
Look what Oswald did. With just a bolt action gun there with the whole. I mean, they're saying that Oswald got all those 3 shots off with that. I have my theories about it,
Yeah,
and
I know.
but that's not what we're talking about.
Yeah,
but
I don't understand. It's one of those things that I'm like, I don't know. I don't know. Anyway, whatever. I'm just wondering how they're going to do it, or if they're going to do it, or what they're going to. Anyway, I don't know.
Eventually, we'll find out. I guess that's all it boils down
But,
to. We can only ride along and
That's right.
see where
Anyway,
it goes.
it is what it is. So
Well, actually, it is what it is.
it is what it is.
Yeah,
That's
yeah,
what I said.
okay.
Anyway,
No, that's what I
so
said.
this week I am
Because
hoping
just don't forget, it is what it is.
this
And
week
you know what I was thinking?
that you should shut the fuck up.
That's what Trump said about the pandemic. It is what it is.
Yeah, that's right.
So anyway, this week, hopefully, tomorrow you guys can
Yeah,
hop
we'll get
on
the other
here and you can
Pennyworth up there.
look up our review for the next episode of Pennyworth. And
And we're sorry it's late, honestly.
yeah,
It's
we
just-
really are sorry this one's late. But hop over and check out Falcon and the Winter Soldier, because
Yep.
we are going to be talking about that today as well, and that will come up. So anyway, what was your guys' favorite part of the show?
Yeah, did you have any particular part you enjoyed?
I noticed that when we are getting the odd comment here and there,
Paula.
yeah, Paula, there's it.
Thanks, P.
Yeah. Just, what do you think of it? Are you guys, like, if you're out there and you're watching, are you hardcore Batman fans, as an example? And what do you think of how it's comparing to the actual history of Batman and Pennyworth, or Alfred Pennyworth, and all those things? Like, how do you see these things? Like, do they, what is it?
What's your perspective is
Yeah,
what
what's
you're
your whole
asking.
perspective
Yeah.
on it? And what are you thinking of how they're doing it? And do you watch them the same way? Do you watch and go, damn, they're not.
Yeah, do you know it the way he does is what it boils down to.
Yeah, they're not making
Yeah.
it. They're not making it. They're not making it
Follow whatever.
follow
yeah.
enough or accurate enough. Or are you one of those that's like, I don't care as long as I'm entertained? Or I'm really curious. I want to see.
Yeah,
I
let
really
them
wanna see
know
what you
where
guys are
you're at.
thinking. Anyway, that being said, check out our next episode, like I said, of Let's Talk. And you can see Falcon and the Winter Soldier episode 2, because we're going to talk about that.
Yep.
And tomorrow, catch us for Pennyworth again. In the meantime, we'll catch you guys right here on Spurled Radio on the next one.
Stay healthy, guys.